So I am coming in to say goodbye and to tell you what an incredible time I had with you guys. Thank you for bringing so much energy, so much good, loving, supportive awesomeness into this launch. We had so much fun. Hi, everybody who's coming on in and watching. So I just wanted to sort of pop in, wrap up, give you a fun announcement. So come on in, say hello. How are you feeling this morning? How is your energy this morning? Happy, blessed? I love that. So I love the hearts. Thank you. Really, truly, thank you for being so extraordinary. What an incredible group of humans that gathered for the last 9 days. It was really something else. And it's such an honor and a joy to get to connect with so many women around the world who are just reaching for higher consciousness and wanting to allow more beautiful gifts to come through you and all of that. So there's a couple fun things I want to share with you. One is a beautiful announcement, which I'll share in a little bit. And I'm also here to answer any questions. If you have any questions about manifestation, if you have any questions about the abundance method, if you have any questions about where I got this beautiful top, I'm happy to just sort of be here to support you. I feel like Ariana Grande. One last time, I need to be the one who takes you home. One last time. So I'm here for this one last time. If you guys have any questions, we are going to be closing this Facebook group later today. Enrollment for the Abundance Method ends later today. It's been so fun seeing you guys saying yes to what's possible in this. Again, here's another song. I feel like Elsa, Into the Unknown, right? It's like, what is unknown? What is here? What awaits you when you make choices from that alignment? Whoa, like what awaits you when you double down on your energy? So good. What do I think about affirmations? Jacqueline said. I think affirmations are amazing. And I also feel like we have to couple the affirmation with a feeling, right? Because we literally have an electromagnetic current, literally, that we send out. And our thoughts are sort of electric and our emotions are magnetic. And so in order for us to be a magnet in the field, because everything is sort of magnetic and magnetized to itself and to what is its own resonance, we need to think, but we need to feel. The feeling is sort of the most crucial piece, right? Because somebody can be thinking like, you ever like, maybe you're on your way to a job interview and you're telling yourself, I got this, but like you're super, super anxious and your nervous system is super dysregulated. So it's gotta be both, right? It's gotta be mind, body, and then soul, right? Because the soul is where all your power is. Your soul is where that fullness of your energy actually is, because it's in the energy that's bigger than you, right? It's something bigger, right? Like if you're going to get water from a faucet, it's not the faucet. It's the water flowing through the faucet that does the heavy lifting, right? If you're turning on a light, it's what's moving through the light bulb that does the heavy lifting, right? So our physical form has the capacity to generate and hold energy that's not of us. We're not creating the energy. We're not beating our own heart. We're not coming up with life force. And so it's God's light. It's that divine, that loving kindness, that energy, that creativity, those downloads, all of that comes from beyond. So that's why in this program, we sort of put together this method of like body, mind, and soul. How do you come into alignment? You're working with all three of these aspects of you, right? And so most people get stuck in just the mind, which we got to move beyond that, right? And then some people just get stuck in the body, right? But where you really want to go is nobody. You want to be nobody. When you're nobody, you're really a somebody, because you're not a body. You're not your story. You're not your grades. You're not your zip code. You're not your bank account. You're so much more than that, right? You're the life force, the energy that is connected to the oneness, right? Being someone is being some of the one. So do affirmations work? Well, partly, right? It gets you half of the way there, which is why if it worked, then everybody who said affirmations to themselves, what was it on Saturday Night Live, Steward Smalley? I'm dating myself, but I have to say that was the best era of Saturday Night Live. Like, I was so lucky that, like, when I was in high school, it was like the best, like Dana Carvey, Mike Myers, obviously, do we need to debate that? So anyway, I think it was Stewart Smalley, and he used to say, I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me, and I have friends. Do you guys remember this? He would like say these affirmations to himself in the mirror. So the affirmations are a piece of it, right? What you think is a piece of it, but we have to go deeper than what we think. We have to go to what we feel. And so we have to tap into this nervous system. And what do? We manifest at the speed of safety. And so what that means is, Gay Hendricks has done a ton of research on this. I've had him on the podcast a couple of times. I mean, you guys, my brain like explodes from how, like, I literally think, I mean, I have sat with 900 people. I feel like I have gotten the equivalent of like 3 PhDs worth of information on the brain and body. Not to mention I've been studying this for years, for about 25 years. But we have a set point, okay? And that set point is you up against your nervous system. And what that means is, as little people, when we are children, we decide how much vulnerability, let's hold on to the word vulnerability for a second, how much vulnerability feels safe. Now, why do I say vulnerability? Because what I'm really equating that with is joy. How many of you have looked into Brene Brown's research, right? Brene Brown, she's the vulnerability person, right? She's always talking about being vulnerable. But what is it that led her to vulnerability? Who knows? Tell me in the chat. What led her to researching vulnerability? Why? Why did she come up with looking at vulnerability? What the hell? Like, where does that come from? Does anyone know? I see hearts. I see people watching. Well, I'm going to go ahead and give you the answer. So she started researching vulnerability because she was interested in studying what keeps us from joy. Joy. Joy, 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 happiness, happiness, joy. Why? So one night she was with her husband and they had a great date. They went on a date night. They were holding hands. They were walking into their house. They were about to tell the babysitter that she could go home for the night. She was feeling so happy and so at peace. And right before she walked in the door, she was aware of how happy she was and how grateful she was for her husband, for her life, for her house. And about 8 seconds after she was aware of how happy she was, what happened? What happened? She got scared. She got scared. And she had this thought of like, oh my God, why am I so happy? Why did I get so carried away? I could walk in the house and find out that something bad happened. Maybe somebody's hurt. Maybe the babysitter left. Maybe the house was robbed. Blah, 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 blah. Like all this stuff. And then she said to herself, what the hell was that? I went from joy, like really truly feeling peace and joy and happiness, to feeling all of this fear. And so she walked in the door, and then she was putting her child to bed that night, and she was going back into this feeling of like, I'm so grateful for my life. I'm so grateful for my kids. I'm so grateful for my husband. And next thing she knows, she's putting her child to sleep at night, and she has all these thoughts like, what if something bad happens to my kid? What if something bad happens to me? She's like, what the hell is this? So she did the research, and you know what she found out? She found out that when we move into a state of joy, we feel vulnerable. We feel vulnerable. And so watch this. So as much as people say all day long, I want to be happier, I want to have this, I want to have abundance, blah, 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 we are all a little bit full of shit because the nervous system, the brain hardwires into you a feeling of a set point of don't be that joyful because the shoe could drop. Don't be that happy because that's where your vulnerability is. If you get that happy, now you're vulnerable. All of a sudden you're that happy, something bad could happen. So keep yourself at a default set point. And so we want to learn, what is that about? What that's about is, in order for us to set it down and to literally receive joy and abundance, we have to teach our bodies. We have to teach ourselves. We have to teach our nervous system. It is safe. It is safe. It is safe to be at peace. It is safe to have joy. It is safe to be full. It is safe to have abundance. And you want to know a trick? You want to know a trick that will allow you to expand your capacity to receive? You want to know a trick that will allow you to let in more abundance and joy, to sort of override the programming that tells you to just keep sabotaging your joy? You want to know a trick? Gratitude. Because what we find in the brain and in the body is that when you're experiencing a lot of joy, you will start to feel vulnerable, and all of a sudden you'll have a set point where you're like, I better sabotage this relationship. I better pick a fight out of nowhere. It's feeling too good, which makes me feel too vulnerable, and then I get really scared. This is literally all subconscious. However, when you go into gratitude, there's a way in which you are giving to something greater than yourself a feeling that you are so appreciative, which makes you feel that you can sustain allowing it in. How cool is that? Type a 1 in the chat if that's cool, if you think that that makes sense. Which is why gratitude practice allows us to stay in it. Because if we have this capacity to turn it over to something greater than us and say, thank you, God. Thank you, God. And now watch what I will do. Watch what I will do with this joy. Watch what I will do with this appreciation. Watch how I will make this a gift to the world and put it into contribution. Guess what? The human being, the body, the nervous system will allow you. It will allow you to have a greater capacity to receive because you will flow it back into the whole. And so this is why, do affirmations work? Partly. What really needs to happen is we have to get beyond ourselves. When we go into the collective, when we go into contribution, when we go into receiving on behalf of the whole and then giving it right back, we literally allow ourselves to be abundant, which is why this whole thing is about wholeness, right? To be holy is to be whole, and to be whole is to not be an ego. It's to be part of the oneness. This is it, right? And this was the mic drop of Abraham, right? Before Abraham, people thought that things were separate. There were multiple gods. There was the God of the sun, the God of the water, And this man came along and he said, I think it's all oneness. I think we're all one. And I think it's all connected. And I think there's an energy that runs through everything. And ever since then, we've actually sort of found out in science that that's actually true. And there is a oneness, and there are little waves, but all the little waves are part of one ocean. And each of us are uniquely, we're 2% different than each other molecularly, but we're all part of one orchestra, right? And so that's really, really fascinating and really, really cool. So, by the way, I hope that you learned enough in this workshop to know just how much more you desire to know. I feel like when I studied in Jerusalem for 3 years, I came back and people said, how much did you learn? And I said, I learned enough to know how little I know. I learned enough to know how much more there is. That's how much I learned. Whenever I talk to someone or I study something in science, I'm like, oh my God, I learned enough to know, to appreciate how much bigger it actually is and how awesome it is. And this is why every single day we're together in this workshop, I'm just like squeezing it out, pouring into you, right? As much as I can. I'm like, let's give you the juice, right? Let's do this exercise. Let's have this conversation. But there is so much more to it, which is why I say to you, get in there, right? Which is why I say to you, imagine spending 12 weeks working with your nervous system, understanding, because knowledge is power, making the connections in your mind, connecting the right and left hemispheres of your brain to understand how this works, and then deeply integrating it into your body, right? And then into practice. And coming out the other side feeling like you're clean, feeling like you went through a detailed car wash with the ultimate detailed stuff, and all the scummy, like mucky stuff is off the windshield so you can see clearly. Because what happens is you wake up and you are viewing yourself as this big, and you are viewing reality as this big, when really reality is this gorgeous, supportive, wide open, expansive field with every possible potential. And you are this being that has the capacity to hold in your little being the sun, the moon, and the stars. You can be a vehicle for all the energy, for all the love, for the same potency of love that Nelson Mandela could bring the world, that Mother Teresa could bring the world, that Dr. King could bring the world. That's in each of us. That's in each of us. And when we come home to that, we feel so needed. We feel so in contribution. We feel so holy. We feel so whole, right? And it's incredible what synchronicities we start to bump into. It's incredible how fun life gets to be. And you will start to feel, oh my God, it's so good. What am I going to do? Well, you're going to move into gratitude. You're going to move into service. You're going to move into contribution. You become a steward of this, right? And then you can sustain it longer. You can hold it longer because you're holding it on behalf of the whole, right? So it's super, super fun. And I can't wait to be with you guys for 12 weeks. And it's just going to be awesome. So if you have any other questions, you can put them here. And I know some of you signed up for Platinum, and I see that already about 46 of you are coming to the retreat in July, and about 27 of you are coming to the retreat in October, which is fantastic. We're going to have so much fun. Just the retreat alone, you're going to say the retreat alone was worth the cost. But I also got 12 weeks of this incredible training and incredible structure and the peers and the friends you're going to make. It's going to be so great. So the doors of the program closed today, and we have our first class on the 29th. And just to remind you of how it's going to go, when you join every class, we will meditate for about 10 minutes, no more than that. We're going to help you develop a capacity to meditate. You are going to learn how to do that. That's 10 minutes of every call. The rest of the call is going through the process of rewiring the mind, the body, which is the nervous system, and then moving into that part of you that's your soul, bigger than your body. No body, no where, and no time. Because the soul is timeless, right? And the soul is beyond space. So it's in the fifth dimension. No body, no where, no time. We're going to move into that, right? And from there, we're going to, this entire time is about allowing you to become a vehicle for abundance, allowing you to tune the radio station so there's no static and that the music starts coming through crystal clear and you start being able to manifest. You're going to see, wow, do you have a lot of power to turn thoughts into things, because it's electromagnetic. The thought sends a signal out and the feeling draws it back to you like a magnet. And so when your thoughts and your feelings start being coherent, you start to create in the field. The field is made of this kind of energy. Janet said, Cathy, with the gold membership, can we come to the retreat in July? So the gold membership does not include the retreat. However, if you do the pay in full option, you do get to come to the retreat. We just added that as a bonus. Oh, also, speaking of bonuses, we decided on the team call this morning that if you sign up today, we want to make it, I don't know, just feel extra fun because the doors are closing. You can choose any one of the bonuses that you missed. How fun is that? So you can pick one bonus that you missed, and we had a bunch of different bonuses since the beginning. And if you want to know what those are, if you join today, then you can email hello@cathyheller.com, and Jen, who is the best, or Kylie, who's amazing, and one of my team members will get back to you and will let you choose one of the bonuses that you may have missed. So how fun is that? So get in before the doors close today. And I'm just going through, seeing if there's any other questions. Just looking at this. Yeah, so you can sign up today and choose a bonus that you missed, because why not? Yay, awesome. And another thing, if we paid for gold in full, is the October retreat available? Yes. Yes, you get to choose one or the other. The one in July is literally almost full. You're going to get retreat info. We're going to send it to you. If you haven't gotten it yet, you will be getting an email asking you which one you want to come to if the retreat is part of the package that you bought. No, the retreat doesn't count as a bonus. It wasn't one of the bonuses. It was just something that came with either buying the platinum or paying in full on the gold. We gave you the retreat. And the retreat is just like a full experience that we usually charge a la carte. We've never added it to the program. And it's 3 days, it's meditation, it's delicious food, it's yoga, it's sound baths, it's this work, it's working on this whole concoction. they're going to send you a email so that you can tell us which retreat you're coming to if you purchase that. When will we see the business bonus in our portal if we already signed up? The business bonus will go into your portal ASAP. What were the bonuses? Okay, so these are the ones that I can remember. The first night we had an abundance box was a bonus. That is like literally something that gets sent to your house. And I think there's like some fun things in it, like bath bombs, candles, something like that. And we sort of personalized that for you. Another bonus was yesterday was Made to Do This, which is typically a $3,000 program, which is a 12-week course on how to go from idea to income to start or scale your business and help you to get your offer out there, help you to price your offer, help you to know your audience, help you to start your email list, help you to create a podcast. It's a phenomenal class. I used to teach only that class. I taught that class for years, and we've had thousands of people graduate from that class and make money and do great things. So that class was a bonus. What were the other bonuses? There was another bonus that was a self-care, self-celebration hangout with me, Susie Moore, and Robin Euclid. What was another bonus? My team can fill in any of that I missed. Somebody just asked, Emily said, where did I get my gorgeous shirt? You have the best clothes. Thank you. I take such pride. I love to select my thoughts for the day, and I love to select my clothes. This shirt is so beautiful. The brand is Frame, Frame, and I bought it, I believe, at Nordstrom, and I just love it. Thank you for noticing. I love that Tiffany said I started Made to Do This at 6 a.m. this morning. So excited. I'm going to ask you, Tiffany, did you already learn something by watching the beginning of Made to Do This? Made to Do This is like 24 hours of calls that you get to go through, and you get to go through them at your own pace. But each of those 2-hour calls, you're going to be taking tons of notes, and you're going to be starting to implement things into your business that will hopefully change it for the better. Do I offer anything for children? It's interesting that you said that. You know, I worked with Lisa Henson, Jim Henson's daughter, and I worked on a project. It was called The Peaceful Place, and it was teaching mindfulness to children. And you never know what will happen with that project. Tiffany says, absolutely. I'm so glad. Barb says, DM me if you have any questions, cathyheller.com/Barbara, or you can email Barbara@cathyheller.com. Is it possible to see a replay of the 3 bonus classes from earlier this week? So those of you who are in VIP, you obviously get the replays. And as far as seeing the replays of the rest, I'm not sure. There might be some way. Those of you who are in the program, we're going to give you the entire thing, and we'll think about what else we can do for everybody who doesn't join the program but wants that. Thank you for including the bonus today. So excited for that. Oh, I'm so glad. Ashley said, so excited for Made to Do This. Made to Do This is amazing because there is no good reason in 2024 why each of us doesn't have a side hustle. There's no good reason. Like, for instance, you want to join this program, but you feel like you can't, you should have a side hustle. Like, it doesn't matter whether you want to have a big business or whether you just want to have something fun that you do on the side. When you learn from me how to start a business, you're going to be like, oh my God, it's just fun. Like, why didn't I do this? For instance, like, you can be affiliating for other people who have businesses as a side hustle. You could be affiliating for me. You could be affiliating for something that you love. Do you know how many businesses would say, here's a link? For instance, those speakers, right? Remember I showed you guys at the beginning of this workshop, I was giving away these like yoga for the mind speakers. I think they're like $130 or something like that. I love those speakers. So I reached out to that business. I don't even remember when it was. And I was like, I've been buying these for people. Can I affiliate for you? And they were like, yeah, here's your own link. Anytime somebody buys from us with this link, we're going to give you this much money. Amazon, for God's sakes, has an affiliate link where you could have an Amazon link where people who are buying their paper towels anyway use your link and you get a cut of it. I'm not joking. That's like the lowest hanging fruit, right? But my point is you should have a side hustle, right? Sophia Amorosa, she started Girl Boss, right? Her whole thing was like she would buy things on eBay and she would buy things at thrift stores and then she would sell them on eBay because she knew what stuff to find. My husband's friend, who he knew at his law firm, Ben, made an additional $40,000 to $60,000 a year just for the fun of knowing how to go into thrift stores and have the good eye to know what to find, and then he would upcycle it and he would sell it. There is no end to the side hustles that you could have. No end to it. We have somebody who went through our program who loved gathering people. And she wanted to create a way to make money gathering people because it was like her favorite thing to do. So she created something where people would tell a story from their life. It was like a storytelling evening. So they would pick 8 people and they would all come over to her house. It started first, you'll see in the program, I teach you how to make like a beta offer for free. And then once you make it for free, you sort of know if people like it, you know how to tweak it. You'll see, you'll learn the whole thing. So she started this storytelling evening. Next thing she knows, she is seeing 8 people are in the storytelling evening. They each tell their friends to buy tickets. Each of them sells like 10 to 15 to 20 tickets. She starts renting a theater in Santa Monica. She starts making thousands of dollars for people to come to such an interesting evening, which was people got up and told a story from their life. And there were only 2 rules. Number 1, you had to tell the truth. And number 2, you couldn't apologize. And people would tell stories about their first kiss, stories about a breakup, stories about some project that people just loved it. There is no end. We had somebody in our program who her husband had lost his job during COVID because he was a videographer and the event business dried up. And she was like, I want to do something. And she was pretty handy with graphic design. And she decided to make an offer to create logos for people. Next thing she knew, she was like charging $700 to make people's logos. And then next thing she knew, she was charging $1,250. And then she was redesigning people's websites. And she wound up making $35,000. And it was supposed to be just like a little something. And it turned out to be something much bigger. We had somebody who came through our programs, Greg, who started making cheesecake. You guys have probably heard that story. He made cheesecakes. He was working at a factory that sold dog food. He decided to make a cheesecake one night. He made 2. He brought it down to the fire station. The fire chief liked it. He started to just sell a few cheesecakes. He would go into this little town in Missouri and he would walk into the post office and walk into wherever and sell cheesecakes out of a little freezer bag for $10. Long story short, he opened a brick and mortar cheesecake shop. He told himself he only had enough money to keep the store for a month and he was just going to rent it and do a pop-up. Well, that store is now several stores. He wound up quitting his job. Well, he got fired from his dog factory job and he wound up starting this business. And now he's like the number one. He's now in grocery store. I mean, it just took off like beyond what you could believe from just a little side hustle. The name of the game is there's no reason you shouldn't be having fun because you have a phone. We used to not have phones. Okay. So 100 years ago, if you wanted to have a business, if you wanted to sell something, you would have to get on a horse. If you were lucky to afford a horse, you'd take the horse and you'd go into the town square, right? And you would trade things or you would sell things. Now, human beings who want to buy from you are on the other side of your phone. So if you have a side hustle, the audiences are already there. There's already Facebook groups for people who want to do scrapbooking. You could be selling things to people who want to scrapbook. There's all the audiences are on your phone and there's already buyers. And I will show you in Made to Do This how you can spend 30 minutes a day just talking to people, right? Doing market research and then making an offer. The more offers you make, the more money you'll make. And that's just in terms of side hustle. Obviously, all of this comes down to energy. All of this comes down to how much energy do you have that allows you to get the creative download, that allows you to have the resonance where people just start paying you and opportunities start coming in because you become a magnet for that. I started a podcast in my closet, okay? I started a podcast in my closet. It wasn't a walk-in closet. I was sitting on the floor with the accordion doors open. The podcast started to make millions of dollars. Even before the podcast made millions of dollars, our very first episode, Blue Apron reached out and wanted to be a sponsor of my podcast. Our very first episode. And I was like, right away, I'm making $700 just to do a podcast. That was fun, right? It was like, you just don't know what's on the other side of being scrappy, being messy, having fun, playing with things. And the best part is, why not make a little money doing something you love? Because then you get to do the thing you love a little bit more often. We had somebody come through our program who likes to bake and she chose something. You know, I'm always saying choose one thing. And so she chose this like chocolate chip banana bread. She sold out of it. Then she made it gluten-free. She sold out of it. Then she started catering little parties and just doing desserts. She's having a blast. It's just fun. Like in this day and age, when every single human being on the internet is on the other side of your touch of a button, why not have a side hustle? And then you never even have to have this conversation about things that you can't afford because you just have a little way in which you are showing up in the world, making a little offer, solving somebody's problem, and then you're going to see in Made to Do This, we go over what are the 5 types of businesses. You can teach someone something, right? You can make something for someone. You can do a service for someone, or you can sell a product, right? There's no end to the things that people will pay for. People pay travel agents, right? I pay somebody a $3,000 fee just to design a trip for me. And then she makes kickbacks by calling the hotel, right? And designing that. So she makes money on both sides. That was a side hustle for her. Then it became a whole thing. Because why? She has really good taste and she's really interested in bougie trips. So she started selling the fact that she's the right person if you want to make a bougie trip. There is no end. We had somebody come through our class who loves New Orleans. And I was like, well, if you love New Orleans, make that your offer. And she was like, well, what would it be? I'm like, I don't know. You take people through a walking tour of that city. And then you make deals with the right restaurants and the right bars. And you go on a progressive dinner. She did that. And so people would pay to go on a ticket and they'd walk through the city. She's having a blast. There is no end to how you can have fun and get paid to have fun. So that is also there for you. And I love both, right? I love teaching people how to be resourceful, how to play, how to get to do what they love. And then the most compelling thing to me is how to tap into your own energy, because all of the wholeness and all of the good feelings and all the resonance and all the magnetism, it lives inside of you. And we have to get back to a place inside of ourselves where we know how to tap in and turn that on, because not to do that is a waste of a day. Not to feel into your fullness and the power that lives within you. It also, who are you not to, right? There's a whole world of people who could be loved into life because you're showing up in a greater sense of your own resonance. Love people. Let your own vibration be so loving and so open-hearted that it creates possibility when people are around you. Do you know how many times I'm talking to someone and they say to me, I don't know what it is, just by talking to you, I just got an idea. I'm like, right, because when I'm in the Wi-Fi of reality being this wide open field of possibility, which it is, people can tap in and plug into that resonance and find that opening inside of themselves. We are like those candles that light other flames, and there's no end to how many people we can light up when we light up ourselves. We are being asked every single day not to change the world, but to change the world for one person. That one person is you. When you change the world for yourself every single day, you by definition will light up tons of people and the ripple effects will be huge. So it is so much fun, which is why I say when your brain comes to you with a really compelling argument like, you can't do this. I say we have BS, it's a belief system, which is bullshit. There's no way that's true. That's because you're coming from the mind of the small self and the ego and the addictions to the past. But when you work with the part of you that's tapped in and turned on, you're like, not only can I, but fear is so freaking boring. I said that to you the other day. Fear is so boring. What a boring way to spend your life, to constantly tell yourself what you can't do, look for the evidence that it's true that you can't do it, and then just sit it out with everything. What a waste. You didn't come to be bored. You didn't come to live in fear. You didn't come to keep choosing what you chose yesterday. Every time you hear yourself say, I can't, turn it around and say that I can't is coming from the part of me that's really sabotaging me. And it's not an I can't, it's I won't. And maybe that part of me is saying I won't, but who I really am is the part of me that's like, let's go. I will tell you that in my week, I always put something on the calendar that scares me a little bit in a good way because I want to grow. If there's nothing on your calendar that makes your heart race a little bit, you will not grow this week. You will not grow this month. And so I'm asking you, what is on your calendar over the next 12 weeks that you told yourself you can't do that you're deciding to do anyway? Because when you do that, what happens is you create courage. And it's courage that comes before confidence. No matter what you do, whether you're starting out dating, whether you're starting a business, whether you're starting meditating, you won't have confidence in the beginning. Period. End of story. Confidence follows the courage. You start with courage. And once you have the courage to do something, you get better at it, and then you build confidence. Now, that is actually the thing that satisfies us the most, is seeing ourselves have the courage to show up and do something. And when we begin to do something that we had the courage to do, we feel satisfied with ourselves. because we came to grow and we came to keep expanding, which means getting beyond our past, getting beyond what we told ourselves was the limitation. That is what is available. So for some of you, this needs to be the next thing to do. For some of you, it's not me, right? I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and I'm not the best teacher for everybody, but somebody is your best teacher, and somebody does have whatever that opportunity is, whether it's signing up to run a marathon or whether it's going to, you've always put off wanting to play guitar and it's hard, but you're going to do it. Who you become by learning that guitar is going to be worth everything. But if it is this, right, if this feels like something that is compelling to you and there's something about it, then say yes to yourself. And look who you'll become just by saying yes to yourself. Just making that decision alone will do wonders for you because you're telling yourself, I told myself I can't do it, but I am going to do it. So I'm going to figure out what happens inside of me when I choose to do something that requires courage, and then watch who I become, right? I went to college on academic probation, so I had to pay for my own college, which made me very disciplined and getting up early and all of that jazz. And I became an A+ student. And I became editor of my college paper. In fact, I went to school in Tallahassee. I went to Florida State. I grew up in Florida, went to Florida State. They put me on academic probation. I graduated in the year 2000, okay? And what happened in Florida in the year 2000? There was an election. And what happened in that election is that Florida wound up being the sort of like make or break that whole election. And I was editor of my college paper. And the very evening that Catherine Harris came out on the Capitol building floor in Tallahassee to announce who won that election, I was there. And so were every single news team, Fox, MSNBC, you name it, Al Gore, Joe Lieberman, everybody was there. And she came out and she announced that the election went to Bush. Do you guys remember this? Some of you are too young. Some of you totally remember. And at that moment, I was standing there with every news crew. And I was the editor of the college paper. And because Al Gore had been a journalist and a student journalist, he said, I'm going to give one interview. I'll give it to the student journalist who's here, and she can take the story and put it on the wire. The wire means that everybody on the AP wire can sort of distribute the same story, and one story could be in the Washington Post, and the same story could be in the Boston Globe and everything else. And guess what? I interviewed him that night, and I was in tears. It was amazing. That all happened because this girl who barely graduated from high school, who had C's and D's, went to college on academic probation with no confidence and a ton of courage and no money and no resources, but a ton of resourcefulness. I worked 3 jobs. I got straight A's. I became editor of the college paper. And then the cherry on the top was that it just so happened to be that my college was in the capital city of Florida. There was an election. Florida wound up being involved in that election. I wound up being in the right place at the right time because I had become who I was supposed to be, so that when that opportunity came, of course I was there. From that point on, my life has been a series of synchronicities that required me to show up with courage in order so that the synchronicity would meet me in the place of courage. And so I am so grateful for being uncomfortable. I'm so grateful for having not been given a silver spoon. I'm so grateful for having to have to work at things, because who I've become by overcoming the self-doubt, who I've become. So now it's game on, because when someone tells me I can't do something, I'm like, oh, you don't know about me. Let's begin. I'll take pictures. I'll show you along the way. When someone's like, oh, you can't start a podcast, Kath. There's already millions of podcasts. I'm like, oh, we haven't met yet. Let's go. I'm like, tell me again. I love, actually, when people tell me I can't do something. I'm like, tell me I can't make millions of dollars. Explain it to me. Perfect. Exactly what I needed. Let's freaking go. So for me, when I see people who live their life based upon here's what I can't do, I'm like, oh my God, you're totally missing out on who you actually are, because your greatest resource is your resourcefulness. Go choose 5 things that you tell yourself you can't do, and go ahead and watch how you don't only get them done, but you supersede those things. Make a list right now of the things you tell yourself you can't do, and then go put yourself in the energy of your true self and watch how not only do you get them done, you get them done with flying colors, and everybody else is still sitting 50 miles behind you with all of the reasons they can't do something. We're over it. We're done. We're on borrowed time, right? We're not going to be here in this body for thousands and thousands of years. Let's freaking go. So please, if anybody is sitting here and you're like, I really want to do this program, but here's why I can't, I'm going to bless you that you start to see what's actually available and how that's actually an invitation for you to show the hell up in a much different way and impress the hell out of yourself with who you go to become. Necessity is the mother of invention, right? My grandparents came to this country with nothing, right? The story is horrendous, and they made it all into magic. My grandfather started a business where he used to take cardboard and make little tiny horseshoes out of cardboard. And what would he do with it? Put it into men's dress shirt collars. He didn't speak the language. He just worked his butt off. And guess what he did? He went to every single retailer until that business afforded him and his 4 brothers and their children. My mom got to go to college, right? Because her father said, oh, don't tell me what I can't do. Watch. You just go watch what I'm going to do, right? We have our greatest resource. It's this and this. It's all day, all night. It's there for you. When you come from this part of you that is tapped out of energy, you become more matter and less energy. You don't get the downloads. You don't have the courage. You don't need more time in your life. You need more courage. If you give someone with no time 10 minutes, but they're in a peak state, you know how much they'll get done in 10 minutes? It's not more time that you need. It's more energy. If you are depleted in any way, it's not that you need to know more contacts. It's not that you need, any of the things. It's you need the resourcefulness, and then you won't even believe it, right? You won't even believe what becomes available to you. Lola said, what keeps you going when the initial excitement wears off? Going back in and scooping up more of it, because it literally lives in you. And what happens is it wears off from the standpoint of the ego and the mind. The mind is not your friend. The mind is Velcro for negativity. It is Teflon for positivity. The mind doesn't absorb. It doesn't absorb serotonin and dopamine. You got to go beyond it. Once you learn where to go, where to put your focus, where to put your attention to actually scoop up energy, it's there constantly 24/7. But we're constantly going into the wrong place. It's like looking for love in all the wrong places. When you go to the mind and you're going to the mind for energy, not going to happen. Your mind is the most untrustworthy place you could hang out. You got to go to the part of you that is bigger than your mind, right? And that's why Michael Jordan meditates. That's why Jerry Seinfeld meditates. It's like, there might be something to it. So in this program, we're going to spend 10 minutes every call meditating, just 10 minutes, and I'm going to walk you through it. I'm going to hold your hand because your body and your mind are going to say, no. I'm going to say, I'm going to get you in it. Then you're going to wind up really liking it. I'm going to teach you how to do a practice on your own that you can do for about 5 minutes a day. And then the rest of the call, we're going to be doing the work to help you to change the way you perceive things and to take inspired action in your life so that you are in alignment and you start to allow abundance, which is awesome. Allow abundance into your life. Become a steward for abundance. I signed up on day 1. Will leave the bonus in my portal. I'm getting excited to keep growing. Yes. And if for any reason you're missing anything, I have the most delightful, amazing team. You can email hello@cathyheller.com and we'll make sure that everything gets to you. Don't worry. This is not our first rodeo. You're in the right place. You will feel loved. You will feel seen. We care about every single person who's going to be in this, and we will make sure that you feel that love. Can this Facebook Live be saved and put in the VIP portal? Yes. Tiffany, you know what's so fun? You're in this class. You're going to get a lot of me. Okay. You're going to be with me on lots of different sessions. You're going to be like, hopefully every time we talk, you're going to say, there's certain things she says that she repeats, but there are always a few new pieces of information that I learn. I'm hoping that that will start to really help you chart a course into the future. Thank you, Amy. I agree with you. Amy just said your team is so lovely and helpful. I know we had a team call today and I was like, people go to work and think of it like a job. We don't. We legit don't. We love each other. We love all of you. It's a very meta kind of thing where the way I run my business is how I live my life. So even inside the business, I'm not like, all right, guys, this is what has to happen. It's more just like, let's just see what happens here. Let's have fun with it. Let's enjoy it. And that makes business really fun and makes it pretty successful. All right. So I have an announcement to make, which is the following. I just had to look down to make sure I remember the link to give you. So we had somebody who wants to remain nameless, who's so abundant, that has been through our community before and is so excited about this program that she wanted to gift it to somebody. Isn't that nice? Isn't that so abundant? So I love our students. I love our alumni. I'm very, very blessed to meet the coolest people in the world. So we want to not only say yes to her because she wants to give this program to somebody, but we also want to match it. And we decided to match it in a sexy way. So we could have matched it by saying, okay, she's giving one away, we're going to give one away. But we decided to sort of make it even better. So we're giving away the following. So I'm going to give you the link, and we won't announce this until next week because we want people to have time to apply. So here's the bottom line. If you want to make sure you're in the program before doors close, you can join the program. And even if you win, we will make sure that we refund you because we're going to do it really, we do it blind. It's not like we're going to choose based upon who's in. We've done this once before, and the person who won was already in because she was just selected. So we made sure to go back and give her the refund. So here's how it's going to work. If you go to cathyheller.com/apply, you can apply for a scholarship. Now, when you go in there, you're going to know that you can we're going to choose one recipient of a full scholarship, and we're going to choose 3 other recipients of a 50% off scholarship, which means we're going to pay half of the program for somebody, no matter what they choose, right? So even if that person chooses then to do platinum, which comes with the retreat, they could get that whole experience then for 50% off. We will be paying 50% of whatever the person chooses. So you can go to cathyheller.com/apply to apply for that. And we will be looking through those applications over the weekend, and we'll probably get back to you sometime next week. And then there'll be 4 winners then, which is really, really fun. And if you're feeling like, well, I don't want to miss out on enrollment, you can choose your own adventure. You can then still enjoy enrolling. And if you do win, then we would just refund you. So there you go. And that was another announcement I came on here to share with you. So, my team, Jen, Ezgi, Barb, Kylie, I know you're on here. Is there anything else that you want to make sure that I'm sharing? Because I'm using my phone right now to do this live, so I can't look and see if you're texting me, but sometimes you're texting me fun things. So if you feel like having anything to chime in here, please feel free to put it in the chat because I have no other way of seeing it. Emily said, how will you choose? Is there a criteria? You'll see when you go to apply, there's questions, and those questions are the criteria, and we will be looking through those questions. So you'll see. Thank you for the hearts. I'm curious as we're signing off, and I'm going to give time to my team in case there's anything that they feel like sharing. What is one thing that you're leaving this experience with? What are you leaving with? Yes, Jen said, cart closes today at 4 p.m. Pacific. What are you leaving with? What are you taking with you? What are you taking with you from this workshop? What is going to stay with you? The bonus choice form will... Oh, okay. Ezgi just said, because we're going to allow you guys, today is the enrollment day, so we said you can choose one bonus that you missed if you enroll today. She said there's going to be a form in your welcome email that lets you pick which bonus you want. I'm reading your comments. How amazing. And I'm so hopeful right now. Yes. Yes. Let's keep putting gas in the tank of hope and optimism. Let me tell you you want to know another piece of research? I've got these all day long. So how many of you know who Angela Duckworth is? She sort of became famous because she did a TED Talk and then she wrote a book. And does anyone know what her book is about? So she wrote a book starts with a G. She wrote a book on grit. Now, why did she write a book on grit? Because she found out that the most successful people in the world are people who have the most grit. So gritty people win. They win the whole deal. Here's what she found out. She wanted to understand what makes people gritty. And do you know what it is? What makes people gritty? What makes people have grit? She looked at people, all different wealth brackets, all different ethnicities. Didn't matter. The most gritty people, didn't matter where they come from, didn't matter their zip code, didn't matter their age, their religion. It was grit. If you had the most grit, you were successful. What creates grit? It's pretty cool. So the only thing that they can find that creates grit is optimism. So people, and this is really interesting too, check this out. Even if that wasn't people's natural personality, by cultivating optimism, they became gritty. And here's what that looks like. So if you are working on trying to find a cure for cancer, you better be gritty. Why? Because you got to keep coming to work being like, I know it's here. We're getting closer. Because the second you start to say, forget it, I'm overwhelmed, there's all the evidence that I can't find it, you're out. You won't be gritty. Gritty people have resilience and stick-to-itiveness. And what allows people to move humanity forward is optimism. Because if you don't have optimism, you just give up. That's called learned helplessness. So gritty people have the capacity to cultivate what is greater, what possibility is greater than the one they could see before. That is why meditation works. It puts you in a state of optimism. It opens up your serotonin. That is why people who are successful are coming from a place of resilience, because there's a reason to keep going. If you buy into your brain is going to take you in the wrong direction, because your mind's going to say, here's the past. What's going to happen in the future is just what happened before. Those people won't be gritty. Those people, you don't want those people as your scientists. You don't want those people as your doctors. You don't want those people as your engineers. You don't want those people as your teachers. You need to create a generation in your own house. The next generation needs to be innovative. In order to be innovative, you better be optimistic. Because if you lose optimism, you won't be able to come up with a cure for the oceans. You'll be out. You're like, here's all the reasons, we're done, we're hopeless. No. It is all about cultivating optimism, which is about seeing further than what you thought you could see. It all goes together. So that is why the mind cannot be trusted. Instead, you have to go into this place. This is where all the optimism is. This is where all the vision is. It's not here. It's here. Vision doesn't come from your eyes. It comes from closing your eyes. You see into the oneness. You see into the field. You remember who you are. Who are you? People say, who am I to do this? Like, do you know who you are? You're not an ego. You're a soul. You have the capacity to love another person into life. You have the capacity to have compassion and energy and creativity. What do you mean, who are you to do this? Who are you not to do this? Oh, you've been identifying with the brain's ego version of you. What a shit show. There's so much more to who you are, right? So this is why I say, when you come up against this moment and you're like, I can't do this, you have to really ask yourself, what the hell does that mean? What the hell does that actually mean, right? So in the next 12 weeks, we are going to go on this journey. Many of you will join us, and you will not be in the same place in 12 weeks. You won't be in the same place in a week, because you'll have made a different decision. You're choosing from who you really are versus on the past version, which isn't really authentic to you. It's the part of you that gets bogged down by bullshit. So I'm very excited. I'm thrilled. Does my team have any last announcements before we go? So I will just repeat. If you want to join today, the cart is closing. Go to cathyhoward.com/join. If you join today, we just put out there a new announcement, which is that you can choose one of the bonuses that you missed, and you will be given an email which will show you which one. You'll have a list you can select from so that you get one extra bonus. And classes start on the 29th. Now, if you want to apply for a scholarship, we're giving away one, because one of our alumni loved the program so much, she said she wanted to gift it to somebody. And we decided to match that. And instead of giving away one other, we decided to give 3 half scholarships. So what we're going to do is, if you go to cathyhoward.com/apply, there'll be 4 winners selected. And you will find that out probably end of the weekend or early next week. And if you're afraid you're going to miss enrollment, then you can go ahead and enroll. And if you win one of those scholarships, then you will be given a refund. And Jen said if you join before cart closes at 4 p.m. Pacific, you get to choose one of the magical bonuses. And she said these were the bonuses: the Morning Magic Journal, the Abundance Box, Cathy hand-selected goodies that delivered straight to your door in a box. Made to do this, you guys need to select that. That's a $3,000 program that's going to teach you how to launch or grow a business. A brand new live virtual retreat with Cathy and Susie Moore and Robin Euclid, a manifestation code virtual retreat. Plus, if you join Platinum or Pay in Full for Gold, you get Cathy's July or October retreat included. July is almost full, so hurry. That's true. Okay, perfect. Thank you for running those down. And then Barbara said, if you have any more questions or you need clarity about the program, you can pick a Zoom time to meet with her. And she put her Calendly link in the comments. But I think you could also go to the link, which is cathyheller.com/chat, I believe. Also on the enroll page, cathyheller.com/join, there's a thing called Video Ask where you can either text a question, put a video of a question, voice note a question, and we will either video you back or text you back or whatever. How do you win a scholarship? You can go to cathyheller.com/apply. And July dates. Oh, the July dates are the 14th, 15th, and 16th. And just for fun, I saw some of you, we were going to give away a few tickets to my event, which is this coming Monday and Tuesday. It's going to be amazing. And some of you, I said the first 100 of you that joined got a ticket, but not everybody could use it because not everyone can fly to Los Angeles. So we had a few extra. So I had said, if you live in Los Angeles, I said you could email hello@cathyheller.com with the subject line Los Angeles, and we were going to let a few of you come to the event Monday and Tuesday for free because we have a few comp tickets. So we are sort of making our final comp list today. So if you want to be included, you can go to hello@cathyheller.com and send the subject line Los Angeles if you want to come to the event, which is this coming Monday and Tuesday. Monday and Tuesday's event is called Her Turn to Podcast. It's all about women starting podcasts, writing books, creating audiences, monetizing their offers. It'll be me and about 20 of my friends who will all be on stage with you. There'll be a sound bath, there'll be meditation. You're going to hear from Terry Cole, Jessica Zweig, Julie Solomon, Amber Lillystrom, Jenny Garth. It's a bunch of really cool women having great conversations about how to start podcasts, how to write books, how to build audiences, and how to monetize to those audiences. And so it's a really cool business conference for women, and it's something that I created, and I'm really excited it's happening Monday and Tuesday. So if you're in the LA area or you can get to LA and you want to be on the comp list, we have a few comp tickets. You can go to hello@cathyheller.com and put the subject word Los Angeles, and we will pick some of you to fill up the rest of the comp list. People who couldn't use their tickets are lovingly paying them forward. That's what happened is we gave the first 100 people who enrolled a ticket, but not all of them. Some of them are coming. Somebody's coming from literally the UK. Crazy how people are flying in for this, but some people couldn't use it. And so we had a list of tickets that we could give away. Oh, that's so sweet. Betsy said, I got a ticket through registration. I'm happy to pay it forward. So there you go. Now we have another comp ticket. Bronwyn said, I'll be there. Can't wait. I also am so excited. It's going to be really fun. And by the way, if you are in the membership, the Abundance Collective, you should check in because we gave you guys a amazing coupon code for this program because you're in our membership. You should check in if you haven't found out what the code is yet so that you can make sure you enroll. And if you are alumni of any other program and you want to know what your code is, you should email hello@cathyheller.com to get it. Yeah, someone's coming from Poland. I know, that's amazing. Lisa said, can't wait for the podcasting event to be in this always soul-filling Cathy and Friends. You're coming from Denver? I love that. I'm so excited. We're going to have such a good time. It's going to be really, really cool. Really, really cool. All right. Well, it is 10:59 and I want to make sure I give you guys back to your beautiful day. I hope that you are excited. I hope that you're going to say yes to yourself and yes to possibility and learn how to tap in and turn in to who you really, really are and all the synchronicity. It's going to be gorgeous. And I hope for those of you who choose platinum, you're ready for the retreat because it's going to be amazing. Yes, alumni, check your email. Oh my God, someone's flying in from Spain. That's amazing. Awesome. You guys, I'm going to go now. I loved this workshop. Thank you for being a part of it. Thank you for all your hearts and your comments and your support. I receive it. I appreciate it. I had just as much fun as you did, maybe even more. You guys are awesome. And it's a blast. It's a blast to be with you. If you forget anything I said, just remember that you're a masterpiece. You're a piece of the master. Lots of love, everybody.